Dark Souls is a game with many different weapons and weapon classes. Some are great, some are bad, some are really bad, and some I've never tried. And today, I decided to give the Spear class a chance and beat the entire game, all bosses plus DLC, with spears. I got this idea during my last video when I picked up the Silver Knight Spear and thought I should give them a go. So here we are. Just how good are spears in Dark Souls? Today, we find out. I debated between choosing the warrior class or the hunter class for the stats because with either one, the first acquirable spear in the game only takes 2 level ups to wield. I ended up going for the hunter for its useful equipment and then loaded in my beautiful manly character as usual. Chose Master Key for my gift and started the run. Run past the demon into this door, grab my weapons, get my Sunny D from Oscar, and then jump attack the Asylum Demon for that bonus double hit damage. Give him one final spanking and we're off to Lordran to put 1 point into strength and dexterity each. Then head into the graveyard to acquire the Winged Spear. I went down to New Londo to collect some stuff, and then into the Valley of Drakes, mainly for the Red Tearstone Ring. I then make my way up to Undeadburg, and I'm starting to see the strengths of the spears already. They have really good range that allows you to pick off enemies from afar, combined with good base damage and a quick moveset. I can see these things being very useful for early game. How they fare for the late game, only time will tell. You can also turtle with them, which means you can attack while blocking, which is extremely useful. One of the best parts of these weapons. I level up a few more times, stab some homeless people, iframe past this barrel, and head down into Darkroot Garden to get the Grass Best shield. Get a really lucky drop from this crystal lizard, and get all the way up to the parish. This is where Blacksmith Andre resides, and he sells a useful weapon for this run called the Pike. It's the second longest spear in the game, only rivaled by the Demon Spear, but it's also the heaviest, coming in at 10 units. I quickly replaced the Winged Spear with it, and it became my main weapon for most of the playthrough. I upgraded it a few times to +3, killed this Tower Knight for an extra Titanite shard, grabbed the Firekeeper's soul and killed these 3 Balder Knights for another. And now my pike is already at +5 before killing any boss. Hitching the ride back to Firelink, I do some epic parkour to reach this roof containing the Asylum West key, then I reinforce my flask, and now it's time for the Taurus Demon to feel my wrath. With Red Tearstone Ring active and a Gold Pine Resin, the Taurus Demon is down in just 2 hits. Kick down this ladder for the shortcut, level up a few more times, and into the parish I go. I threw an Alluring Skull into the fire to lure the boar into its death because it's funny, and he dropped me his helmet, which is actually really rare. It's now time to make our way up to the gargoyles, and just look at the range on this attack. This weapon is so good.
For now.
I lured every last hollow into their demise and left not a single one standing, because that's totally necessary. I then attempted getting myself into Red Tearstone range by dropping off this ledge, but I went nah when I saw that damage because this would genuinely take an eternity. Buffing up with Gold Pine Resin is more than enough for these guys, and holy shit, look at that damage. This is beginning to look extremely promising. I finish off the first one with a running charge attack, and then one more is all it takes for the second one to go down. And with that, the gargoyles are dead in just 5 attacks. And the first Bell of Awakening is rung. Next, I skipped down into Lower Undeadburg instead of using the basement key because that's for scrubs. Then I got back to Firelink using the shortcut and sent Lautrec down the chimney, to which he gave me a Christmas present. Christmas in August? I guess time is convoluted in Lordran. For Capper Demon, I buffed with Charcoal Pine Resin I bought from the sewer merchant. The spear made it so much easier to take out the dogs, whenever I can aim at least. And the fight went really well actually. I took him down without getting hit a single time, unless you count blocking with the shield once, but whatever. The reason I did this so early is because I want access to the depths to acquire the large ember so I can upgrade to +10. I must say how useful the ability to turtle with spears is. These dogs who are usually annoying are just fodder to me now. I rescued Laurentius so he can give us the Pyromancy Flame so that we can use Power Within later. I gave Andre the large ember and upgraded my pike to +7. I then went to go fight Moonlight Butterfly, and my damage wasn't good. It wasn't enough to one-cycle it, so I finished it off with a firebomb and made it float down. I got the Wolf Ring for extra poise, and then inside this little crevice, just before the Moonlight Butterfly arena, there's a snake guarding another spear called the Partisan. It's a lot shorter and does less damage than the one we currently have, but it uniquely has a swiping R2 attack that's pretty good for crowd control. I never used it though, since my current weapon is way better. Using the souls I had, I bought the Crest of Artorias from Andre to open this door, which gives us access to a couple of useful things. Firstly, we can cheese these Forest Covenant NPCs into falling to their death for 2,000 souls each. one of the best soul farms in the game, and when I felt like I had enough of that, I went and joined the Forest Hunters Covenant so that Shiva of the East will spawn. Talking to him and exhausting his dialogue causes him to travel into Blighttown, where he will sell us his demon spear, but we won't be seeing that for a bit. Heading up to where you would normally go to fight Sif, you can find this hidden chest containing the stone armor, which is basically just early game Havel's armor, and it's really good. Speaking of Havel, I killed him for his ring, acquired the Pyro Flame, and ran through the depths like normal to reach the Gaping Dragon. The damage I was dealing was amazing, but it's still the Gaping Dragon, so a ton of bullshit happened, of course.
What?
I pierce a new gaping hole into his ass and put a deserving end to this piece of shit. And now it's time for Blighttown! Yeah, my favorite area in the game! I grabbed Power Within and didn't die, and at the bottom of the swamp I found Shiva, who we can buy that demon spear from for 15,000 souls. Yeah, I wasted 15k souls on this piece of split damage garbage. At least it isn't as bad as the Dragon Slayer's spear though, which I did not go out of my way to get during this playthrough, because I went in with the predisposed knowledge that it sucks complete butt. I collected the 2 large shards in this area, killed this obese Foid, then took the shards to Andre to upgrade my weapon to +9. In preparation for Quelaag, we buff with Power Within and Gold Pine Resin, and that damage is looking almost as sexy as she does. Yes, I'm gonna reuse jokes from my last video, and you can't stop me. My love for Quelaag comes first, YouTube can wait. I mean, not gonna lie, I performed worse during this fight than normal, but that's mainly just a skill issue and not the weapon's fault. The second bell is rung, and just look at how grossly incandescent my character is. Holy, he's beautiful. Then I killed Ceaseless in 1 hit because I'm just that good. And he gets discharged into the lava below for a quick 20k souls. Now we have quite a lot of spending money, so let's take care of that. I used my Demon Spear to take out the Titanite Demon because it upgrades with Demon Titanite. Not really worth it, honestly. Now, it is Sen's Funhouse time. We collect a bunch of large Titanite shards to upgrade the pike to +10, finally. Kill this bitch! Get the rare Ring of Sacrifice for that 1 mandatory Seath death. Then I activated this elevator shortcut so I can get back here easier, because I'm about to take a detour across Lordran to collect a bunch of Titanite chunks we missed. And I also headed down to New Londo to shoot Ingwer to death since he gives the key to the seal, which we use to lower the water level and go and collect the very large ember, which is taken to Andre to ascend our weapon up to +14. Now all we have to do is kill the stray demon for that Titanite slab, and we're gonna have ourselves a +15 weapon before Ornstein and Smo. With the fatty defeated, we go and collect the peculiar doll, which we'll actually use this time around, and finally get our weapon max upgraded. Iron Golem is Iron Golem, no trouble here as expected. At last, we arrive in Anor Londo. Archer gets cheese and falls to his death. We hit up the bonfire, and now, this next part was excruciating. You see, in this room parallel to the bonfire, there resides a single silver knight wielding a spear. It's one of the best spears in the game, and has a unique property of dealing holy damage, which is essentially what divine weapons do. So that would be really useful for Gravelord Nino. However, it has a very small drop rate of just 2%, and I killed this guy and ran back for 15 minutes straight, which I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for me it felt like an hour. And after way too many kills, oh my god, dude, that took so long. I then max upgraded it at the Giant Blacksmith for an expensive 8k souls per piece. Now it's time to fight Ornstein and Smo. Since we're doing a spear build, I killed Smo first to get Super Ornstein for the second phase, because he drops an important item called the Leo Ring, which boosts thrust counterattacks by 40%, which is a huge increase. Super Ornstein goes down fast because of my massive damage, but I almost died a few times due to being greedy and not paying attention to his attacks. And with that, the Leo Ring is ours. I go to acquire the Lord Vessel, and now all that's ahead of us is a boss rush. I entered the Painted World to challenge Priscilla, but not before being invaded by the guy wearing my favorite hat in the game. Tried not to get boned to death by the worst enemy in the game, and now we can get brutally rejected by the giant dragon woman.
If thou seekest I, thine desires shall be requited not.
Our reward is the best armor set in the game, no questions asked. And take the plunge back to Anor Londo to kill Guinevere and fight Gwyndolin, who is not trans, by the way. I keep seeing people saying that. Just stop, dude. You don't know the lore. Being forced to present himself a certain way with magic by his dad is not the same as chopping your dick off and huffing hormones. Anyways, Gwyndolin goes down like nothing, and next I went to go kill Sif. By this point, I don't even have to tell you that the damage on these things is good. I mean, look at that, it's beautiful. Unfortunately, I had to put this doggo down, and I get the Covenant of Artorias ring, so that we can fight the 4 kings later. And since I forgot to earlier, I went back to Anor Londo to collect Havel's set, a much stronger version of the stone armor. Then I defeated the Hydra, rescued Dusk from the Crystal Golem, got the Cursed Pendant in the Duke's Archives, and entered the DLC. The DLC is home to 4 of the hardest bosses in the game, so this is where the spears will truly show how good they are. First up is the Sanctuary Guardian, who is faster and more aggressive than anything we've seen so far. However, the damage we're dealing is more than enough to get the fight over with quickly. Wish I could say the same for the bosses up next. Making my way through the Sanctuary and Forest, we get to one of the best fights in the whole game, Knight Artorias. And when I say this motherfucker gave me so much trouble, I mean so much trouble. I made the rookie mistake of buffing with a resin even though Artorias has no elemental weaknesses. It turns out that he's also incredibly resistant to thrust damage, which is what made this fight in particular so difficult for me. I died to him more times than anything so far. I mean, give me a break. It's been several months since I've actually played the DLC, so this is a refresher to me. My timing on stopping him from buffing had to be frame perfect because of how little poise damage my dinky little pike did to him. After nearly an hour of failed attempts, I finally bested him with the Silver Knight Spear, which for some reason did better damage to him despite showing lower AR in my status screen. Now in the Ulasil Township, the Silver Knight Spear does a really good job at taking out the Abyss Hollows here, and I make my way into this balcony to kill this Mimic and collect the Crest Key, which is used to unlock Hawkeye Goff's tower. Hawkeye Goff is a giant merchant who helps us set up for the next boss. But first, we have to travel down to this basin where we see Black Dragon Kalameet flying through, and descend down this ladder to trigger Kalameet's Flood of Flame, and then go back to Goff to have him shoot Kalameet out of the sky during the best cutscene of the whole game. He's blind, by the way. He's blind. Like and subscribe if you want to see me beat Dark Souls with only bows while blindfolded. I'm not actually doing that. Now it's time to actually fight the dragon. I found it difficult to hit him at times due to having to thrust what is essentially a toothpick at constantly moving dragon legs. Though my damage was actually pretty manageable, not bad at all. Kalameet himself is a very aggressive and versatile boss with many different kinds of attacks which can catch you off guard. Mainly his dashing fire attack and flexy head things. The attack I hate the most is this one. It sucks. On the first attempt, I died, but I came back for round 2 and got my revenge. I slayed the beast, not even Anor Londo could falter, with a metal toothpick. Inside his arena, we collect another Titanite slab. Not that we'll be needing it, but cool anyways. Next in line to be conquered is the Chasm of the Abyss, where we find the Black Flame Pyromancy, which is just a worse Great Combustion, with the only plus side being that it does more poise damage. I never saw a use for it, honestly. And at the very end of the chasm is the hardest boss in all of Dark Souls 1, Manus, Father of the Abyss. Manus is a giant beast who just straight up spams, dude. He never stops throwing random BS at you the whole fight. You have to be an absolute peak performance to beat this guy. He's got magic orb bullshit, never-ending flurry attacks that have massive hitboxes. Yeah, this guy's a huge dick. And he killed me for like an hour straight until I finally got lucky, and the furtive pygmy is once again so easily forgotten. Holy shit! Oh, I did it! Oh! Oh my god, dude. Look at that health and the Estus. I did it, bro, with nothing left. It only took me like 5 hours? No, it didn't. It didn't take me 5 hours, but that was the longest Manus fight I've ever had. I don't know, bro. I don't think this weapon's that good, bro. The next place I went to is the Catacombs to fight Pinwheel. And I mean, guys, it's Pinwheel. Now that that's over with, I make my way into totally vanilla, unmodded Tomb of the Giants. I'm gonna be honest, it actually looks a lot better in here like this. I don't know what FromSoft was smoking, making a pitch dark area you can only see in by acquiring an item within said place. I'll leave the mod down below in the description for anyone who wants it. Hit up this bonfire, kill Patches, jump down and get this stuff, talk to Rhea and kill the church guys, grab the covetous Soul of the Serpent Ring, kill Leroy, and descend into Nito's tomb. As I mentioned earlier, the Silver Knight Spear does holy damage, which permanently kills skeletons, which is really useful for the Nito fight since he has skeleton minions alongside him. Nito himself poses no threat to us, as you can imagine. I mean, the dude has like 3 moves, and we make the first of the dead even deader. After killing him, we can find Leroy's Drip inside this arena, which is one of my favorite looking armor sets in the game. Very underrated. I went to go kill Quaylag's sister for the extra Firekeeper soul and upgraded my Estus flask before descending into New Londo ruins. Since the water is already drained, it's just a straight dash to the Four Kings. On my way there, I got a super lucky Titanite slab drop from my first Dark Wraith. 0.2% drop rate, by the way. The Four Kings fight went semi-okay. I got grabbed a lot and couldn't make the DPS check in time before another king spawned a couple of times, but I still came out on top, and that's another Lord Soul down. Up next, I hit up the Duke's Archives, where we do the mandatory Seath death to respawn in the Archives prison, punch this dude in the back for the key, and make our way out. I actually fell for this Mimic by accident, even though I literally knew it was one, but I opened it anyways. I'm fucking stupid, dude. I make my way through the Crystal Caves and get to Seath, a fight that was actually really annoying this time because two of these clamshell enemies made it through the door. It's still Seath though, guys. Like, come on now. This guy has like 3 moves, and one of them is dying. The Bequeathed Lord Soul is ours, and now it's time for the Izalith Boss Gauntlet. Now, you may think I'm a dumb little goober for using Fire Resin for the Fire Boss, but believe it or not, Fire Sage actually has low resistances to fire. You see, when they copy pasted this boss from the Stray Demon, they forgot to change like literally anything about him, so yeah, there you go. Centipede Demon is Centipede Demon, and now it is time to take on the 4th and final Lord Soul, the Bed of Chaos. This boss is notoriously hated for being a steaming pile of trash, but I have a trick up my sleeve. You see, aiming at these branches with a bow and throwing a firebomb at them can take out the 2 orbs, and you can immediately make a run for the... Dude, what the fuck? There we go. This boss absolutely sucks. Finally, it is time to offer the souls to the Lord Vessel and enter the kiln to face Gwyn. And guys, do I even need to say anything for this fight? I mean, look, you already know how it went. 4 parries is all it took to defeat the decrepit Lord of Cinder, and now that the game is finished, what's my final verdict on spears? Well, my opinions are mixed, because on one hand, the range, versatility, and damage are all very great. However, I noticed that many of the bosses seem to resist the damage of it by a lot, which makes them not so great compared to other weapons. Great sight, the best weapon in the game. So do I think they're bad? No, definitely not. Would I start using them over other weapons? Also no. I rate them 7 out of 10. Anyways, this was a pretty fun playthrough, and I like experimenting with new weapons I've never tried before, so if you enjoyed this, suggest some more weapons in the comments below that I should do a playthrough of the game with. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.